Welcome into the 305 guys on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me. There we go. At Ethan J. Skolnick and at 5 Reasons Sports. I got Alex Donno. You can follow him at Alex Donno. Make sure you check out our great sponsors. That includes our friends over at All Pro Construction Builders. You can find them at allproconstructionbuilders.com. You see their quality is their specialty. Our guy Danny and his team, you can reach out to them. It's a family business. They use the best materials. They're based here in Dade County, but they also service Monroe and Broward. 305-484-4429. That's 305-484-4429. It's always close to hurricane season around here, right? So don't take a chance. Make sure you get the storm windows. Also, make sure you mention 5 Reasons. Not only will you get the free estimate, but you get 5% off your entire order. So check them out. Again, based in Miami, but they'll service the entire area. 305-484-4429. Again, it's All Pro Construction Builders. Let's get to a list. And I'll start here, Alex. List is kind of depressing, actually. It's not an uplifting list. This was a list that Fox Sports put out last week. And I think they did this for every city. The Miami sports scene has always been among the most vibrant in the country. Who are the most notable athletes in the city? We do bargain. That's a good idea. Do you see this? Good point. Good point.
Yeah. It's because it's the 40. We should. Well, you know what? I'm going to be on the road at that time tomorrow.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
I'm picking up my daughter. Can we pretend?
Yeah.
Can we pretend 3 6 3 5? We'll do it then. It's a good idea, bargain. So there you go, bargain lentils. Weighing it here. Who are the most notable athletes? You always like when bargain lentils weigh in. I hope there are not tariffs on those. So who are the most notable athletes in the city? We rank the top 10. So okay, we've had times in our city where LeBron James was here, Dwayne Wade was here, Mike Stanton, I guess Giancarlo Stanton was here, Miguel Cabrera,
Marino back in the day.
Marino back in the day. I mean, I remember I did a piece for the Sun Sentinel of under 25 athletes. The top 25 or under athletes in the city, and this was after Dwayne's rookie year. So we did mixed photo shoots, and one of the photo shoots was Cabrera with Dontrelle Willis. And I believe Randy McMichael was a Dolphin representative. It was a little bit slim pickings on the Dolphin side because the players tended to be older. We had one with Luongo with somebody, and then we had one also with Caron Butler, Lamar Odom, and Chris Chambers on Miami Beach. And then we had one which was supposed to be Dwayne Wade and Josh Beckett. And Dwayne actually drove to the stadium himself, but Josh did not wake up for it and never apologized. I'm not a big Josh Beckett fan as a human being. And so Dwayne sat there and took he hung out with Montpierre and took photos, and we did the interview with him. But anyway, there was a lot more to choose from at that time, and that was just 25 and under. This list is problematic for a lot of reasons, but let's go through who's on it and then others who are not on it. So first they had Lionel Messi, then Tyler Herro, Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa, Bam Adebayo. All right, so of their top 5 here, 2 of these guys, half the fan bases wanted to trade or release. Tyler and Tua, right?
Yeah.
One guy, Bam, a lot of fans don't think is worth the max.
Right.
Another Tyreek, most of the Dolphin fans are done with at this point.
Yeah.
And Messi is not really ours. I mean, I'd like to claim him. His kids do go to my old alma mater. He drives the kids to school himself, by the way, which I find very cool.
To me, right there, I'm gonna call him. You're driving his own kids to school. People have run into the man at Publix before. Like, he's shopping at Publix himself.
Yes.
I think he's one of us.
I think he is one of us. Not just him, but a couple of the other guys on this, including Suarez and Alba. They drive their own kids to school, which and I hear they're good kids too. They're not real spoiled kids, which is pretty amazing. I guess the upbringing.
So you're telling me Luis Suarez's kids aren't like biting other kids? They're not doing that?
No, I don't believe so. I don't think that would be allowed at my old school. But yes, so I want to claim. There we go. South Florida Sports Reporters will be selling cars if these teams all get it together. But again, let's look at the top 5, okay? Again, Messi is one of the greatest athletes in the world. I'm glad I saw him play the other night. I'll see him again on Thursday. It's great that he's here. Follow our podcast, Messi and Company. And I understand that most of these athletes did not grow up in South Florida, so he's not the only one. But this feels a little bit mercenary to me. Like I having him as the number 1, he has to be. but it doesn't speak well for the rest of the list because there's really no competition for it. So
that's fair.
if
I
you
mean, I
look at
will say one thing in Messi's defense, and like I know we're so early still in the MLS season. I think they're 2-1 to start. They got 3 games into the MLS season, but I think the expectation is they could very well win the championship this year. And I don't really see any of our other teams having that good of a chance to win a title in their league. So I would say Messi's stock will only go up even higher if he's hoisting an MLS Cup at the end of the year.
Oh, no doubt. And it can't go much higher in terms of historical, rankings. So again, he's on the list as number one because he's the best athlete on here. He is playing down here. Anybody who would leave what he was doing to go play down the street from Extreme Action Park, I give him enormous credit. He is the attraction.
And he probably takes his kids there to Extreme Action Park. He drives them through the Miami subs, and then they go to Extreme Action Park.
I'm sure he does, but here's the biggest problem with it. Could you really have a list where the number one athlete currently playing in Miami is Tyler? Again, no offense to Tyler, but like what he's a one-time all-star. Like, okay, and then Tyreek, and it's on a team that's currently under 500. Tyreek, Tua, Bam. First thing, Bam should be ahead of Tyler anyway, right? I mean, just for longevity purposes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, should Tua have been ahead of Tyreek? I mean,
I think Tyreek
Sealer better than Tua?
Is who better than Tua? Sorry.
I mean, is Zach Sealer better at his respective position than Tua is? I mean, the Dolphins. I do it again. The Dolphins didn't have a Pro Bowler this year.
So, but he's not more notable though. I mean, that's again like this is going back to note I would say Zach Sealer might be better at what he does than Tua is, but he's not more notable.
Okay, so let's go to the second list here, and this is where I start to have more problems. Kachuk is sixth. He just went on the Tonight Show, right, or something like that. Like he has a profile.
He should be higher. Yeah.
Okay, explain to me, because you're the Canes guy here.
Yeah.
Like Carson Beck hasn't thrown a pass yet. He is. I don't think anybody thinks he's going to be at the level of the last guy. If Cam Ward was still on here, then I'd be like, okay. But he's not. He's probably going to be the number one pick in the draft. Like, how is Carson Beck on this list? Like, I don't understand.
Let me make the case for him. He is super notable. I think 7 is about right for him. I wouldn't even. I'm a little biased. You see the hat that I'm wearing, but I still wouldn't put him in the top 5. But I think 7 is about right for Carson Beck because again, when you go by notable, he's been one of the most talked about college football players for the last couple of years because he was at arguably the biggest or one of the 3 or 4 biggest programs in the country in Georgia. Got a lot of publicity there. Now he comes down to Miami and he is part of a local power couple now because he and Hannah Cavender, just them together. It's like, well, you remember when we used to like combine the names of 2 members of a power couple? Like it's like that sort of a thing. Like he and Hannah are a power couple down here. And he gets talked about a lot. I mean, he hasn't thrown a pass in Miami. And he, despite the fact that they have practiced once, still hasn't thrown a pass because he's still recovering from the elbow injury. But I think he's notable, right? We'll see how he performs on the field. But if the criteria is notability, I think you got to put Carson Beck in the top 10. So that's my case.
Okay. I guess. I mean, mostly it's because there's really nobody else to put there except one guy who's not on the list at all, who I would actually have on the top 5 line. But let's get to 8 through 10.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Devon Achane. Okay. I mean, they're so mediocre as a team that it's. I mean, you got 4 guys here in the top 9 most notable athletes in Miami that were part of a horrible offense this year.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the offense wasn't even good, and you've got Tyreek, Tua, Jalen Waddle.
I would have considered putting Calais Campbell on over one of those guys.
Honestly, I would have. He had a better year than Waddle did.
He did,
or than Tyreek.
He's notable. I mean, he also comes full circle. He played at UM, right? I mean, I don't know.
Okay, let's get to this question here before we get to the last. If Jimmy was here, where would he be? Second,
1 or 2.
Okay.
Be in the top 2.
Okay, and then Suarez at 10, and again, now it just seems like, okay, you've got another high-profile, Barca player who, who's now playing here. Okay, had a goal the other night. I guess. How the hell is Sasha Barkov not on this list?
Yeah, that's true.
To me, he's two. He's two.
He
won as the captain. He's been here forever.
Is he more notable than Tkachuk? Because I feel like the Four Nations really raised Tkachuk's profile. Like,
put them both on the top line.
Yeah, put them both in the top 10. Yeah.
Okay, so I put them both on the top line. Who are we? Okay, well, maybe not. Okay, who are we? Who are you most likely to take off the top line?
Herro, maybe. I feel like it's a very flavor of the month thing with him. I don't, because I feel like Bam should be in there. Tua, for any complaints I may have about him, he's the starting quarterback of the NFL team in town.
Right.
Tyreek. I mean, Tyreek is notable for a lot of annoying reasons because of the distraction factor, but he is notable.
He's notable.
I can't take Messi off the top. I may move him from number one, but I can't take him off the top line. So I think Herro. I think Herro's the guy that I take off the top line.
Yeah, I'd put Barkov on the top 5. I would. I think he's got to be up there. But this speaks to a bigger problem. So we'll talk about the problem on the other side of this. We're going to mention another great sponsor of the 5 Reasons Sports Network is PrizePicks. Use the code 5FIVE. Put down $5. You get $50 to play right away. PrizePicks.com. That is the official fantasy partner of the 5 Reasons Sports Network and of 5 on the Floor and of 305 guys. And again, you can see the discounts there. They put them there all the time. There's Damian Lillard Taco Tuesday today. You can play that down. You make sure you check the plays as you get closer to the matchups. You can play up to 6 players together. You can pair players from different sports. It's all available to you, and it is legal. Yes, it is legal in the state of Florida. So use the code 5FIVE. Use the code FIVE and get $50 to play right away. All right, here's the issue. So typically, if you have a list like this, which is fairly mediocre, I think we agree on this. It's fairly mediocre list.
We've seen better days. Yeah.
Okay. Like typically in this case, you would have like some athletes that you're like, all right, well, they're next, right?
Yeah.
I'm struggling with the next. First thing, there's no Marlins on here at all. Their best player is going to be traded by the deadline.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? Which is Sandy. Like Sandy won a Cy Young. Like technically he should be in the top 10, but everybody knows he's gone anyway.
But again, with notability being the criteria, you play baseball in South Florida, you're in witness protection.
Nobody knows who you are. Correct. Witness protection is a good way to put it. So I don't see. Do you see a Marlin that's going to crack the list anytime soon?
I don't know if I can name any other players outside of Sandy Alcantara, so I'm going to say no.
Right. I'm with you on that. Okay. So that's not happening. The Panthers, again, look, Reinhart could be on this list too. He hasn't played well of late, but
and Barkov should be on it, of course. And
Bob could be on this list.
Yeah.
But again, you're talking about somebody who's a little bit older. And if Barkov can't get on this list, then I'm not going to put another young Panther on the list like Anton Lundell or something like that. If Barkov can't get there, the captain of the team, and in my view, still the best player on the team. Okay, on the Heat side, I don't know, Kel'el Ware.
That was the next person I was gonna. I think he can get there. Like when you talk about next up, Kel'el Ware, I think is the one that I'm gonna look at as rising. I've got a lot of the same feels about Ware as I had like first year of Bam, like where I knew this guy's gonna amount to something. I feel the same way about Ware.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm with you on that. Is there another Kane? It's not gonna last very long. Whatever it is, it'll be a year or two. Is there another Kane that we should be considering?
I mean, if he hadn't have had a little bit of a step back last year, maybe at the end of this year, you could make a case for Ruben Bain. I think he's so popular, in the community, and every time, like every year at media day, there's always a huge crowd around Ruben Bain. Like he was injured mostly last year and took a step back, but if he can kind of pop again this year, I think Bain is somebody who would be on there this time next year. I think that's someone I would probably look at from the Canes, or maybe, if Miami runs the ball even more this year, I think Mark Fletcher is a guy who would be a good representative, but that we're talking next. They don't belong there right now.
I don't know if Andrew Wiggins is ever going to make it here. I'm not sure about that. I kind of feel like we're just waiting on the Heat to acquire somebody. Same position we've been in for the past few years. Like, I mean, KD would be second immediately, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, he might be first in terms of the way Americans view it, right?
Yeah, because as much as like I know soccer's really catching on down here in terms of the fan support, but if KD were in the Heat, it would be KD. He would be over Messi just for the local list.
I mean, I kind of feel like the coaches and front office people are more prominent down here than a lot of the athletes. I think what we've come to on this, and I knew this would be a depressing exercise, Alex. And thanks to our sponsors, All Pro Construction Builders. Not a depressing exercise if you actually protect your house or place of business. So do that, or if you win money at Prize Picks, use the code 5. But I think we are in a dip period for South Florida sports. Now, this is not as bad as say 2007, which that was a year that the Heat went 15-67. The Dolphins were 1-15. They turned it around the next year.
Yeah.
The Panthers missed the playoffs, and the Marlins missed the playoffs. That was pretty awful.
But even then, when the Dolphins were so bad that year, like so like they had wasn't Jason Taylor on the team, or was that when Parcells kicked him off? I think he was still on the team that year.
2007, he kicked him off. That was when
he
year.
we had Ronnie Brown. Ronnie Brown was on the team that year. He got hurt, but he was someone that was pretty popular that year. And
I mean, I feel like Dwayne was the number one guy on this list for 10 years, wasn't he?
Yeah, easily.
I mean, until LeBron came, and then LeBron was, but I feel like Dwayne was for almost a decade. I mean, the Dolphins had Chad Pennington for 1 year, but
we have like and obviously Messi being number one, like he is, and even bigger than. But he's the soccer equivalent of LeBron, but even to another level. The problem is the MLS is the MLS. Like that's the issue. Like if if MLS was La Liga or EPL, then Messi would be a firm number one. But he plays in Major League Soccer, so that's why we questioned a little bit.
I mean, I just got tickets for $15 for Thursday night. So I mean,
$15?
Yeah, I don't know how somebody offered it to me for $15, so I'm taking them. And again, I'll keep going as long as people are going to offer me cheap tickets. But I'm just saying, like, it's a depressing thing. So anyway, we want to thank Fox Sports for giving us a topic. We don't want to thank local general managers and owners and all the rest for giving us a crappy sports time. This is not a great list. I was looking at the LA list right now, and you're like, oh my God. I mean, literally, you could fill it out with 10 Dodgers, and that's before you get to LeBron and Luka. We are in a down, and Boston too. We're in a definite down period. All right, thanks for joining us. And you guys can continue doom scrolling if you want to look at more of the list. Appreciate Alex. Appreciate All Pro Construction, Prize Picks. I am expecting on 5 on the Floor, we're going to have Davion Mitchell on the podcast today. Nice. So maybe he'll make the list at some point. Who knows? I mean, it's good a choice as Jalen Waddle and Carson Beck. Sorry. Have a good one.
Hey.